Hi guys, how you doing? I'm back. I've slept, recovered. My husband is still pretty sick. He's still coughing. He was better yesterday, but a lot of driving. It was a lovely trip, and my friend Laura, I've been friends with since college, and it's one of those friends that you don't have to see each other for years, and then all of a sudden you pick up right where you left off. Although we see each other often in Arizona because she's in Arizona and born and raised there. But we had a lovely time. It was just so smoky. I was really disappointed. I couldn't. Lake Louise was smoky, and the night or the time of day, the reflection made it just not as beautiful as it, normally you would see it. But it is what it is. Maybe give her a reason to come back. Anyway, and we also saw Simon and Garfunkel. I wanted to tell you that about that. It's a show at the Mayfield Theater up here in Edmonton. It's like a dinner theater, but these guys that look like Simon and Garfunkel, and their production showed the history of their time, different TV news shows or different videos. It was so interesting and how it relates to now. And I got emotional watching it and how different things are for different meaning, how we relate to each other back then without the social media, but also all the strife and struggle and protest that were then. Um, it was really different. But anyway, if you guys have a chance, if you're up here in Canada in Edmonton, I think it runs till November, maybe. Yeah, it was really good. And we were so full, ate too much as per usual. Uh, anyway, so today, oh yeah, and I interviewed my friend's husband, Dennis. He's an ex-priest, by the way. He left the order years ago because he wanted to teach, and for whatever reason, they wouldn't let him. And so fascinating person. And that was just a short interview. I'm going to tell you what we talked about, but I have to edit it. And it was in our condo, and so the sound is weird, but I'm really selling it, aren't I? And thank you guys all for your lovely comments on my posts too about the pictures and us and the front. You guys are lovely. So today I'm going to look at a couple interesting things. I wanted to look at, I was watching this video of this woman who had left MAGA. She was an ex-Mormon girl, grew up in the faith for generations. Anyway, I can't remember her name. Maybe I'll put it here. Watched a video how she left MAGA. She left her religion, and she talked about how and why she was abused too in her relationship with her husband. But she talked about unfettered capitalism, how she thought all of that, she was basically brainwashed through years. And so I wanted the unfettered capitalism stuck with me, that word, that phrase. And she said how it was wrong, but she didn't see it till, now. And I wanted to look at that as a being, as an energy, unfettered capitalism, because as we know, corporations and the dark money that donors who are wealthy get from either corporations or, just their billionaire people that have invested a lot. That whole class of people, I wanted to see how that looks. Unfettered capitalism and corporations in a different way, a different energy. So both of them. I already got some images for the unfettered capitalism, and I'll share those with you. I also wanted to see if these are very big things. Democracy as an idea, because democracy is just an idea. We have converted it to a reality, and we have a structure, a constitution that keeps it as a real entity. But originally it's an idea. And I wanted to check back in with our forefathers, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, and maybe John Adams. I'll look into him. So I wanted to see, and I don't want to go too long with that because I can go, it's a deep rabbit hole, but I had looked into them before. Also, Michael Jackson. I remember you guys remember, I have English. I talk good. Remember when I mentioned I wanted to get into the energy of Michael Jackson. And he, I'm just going to give you a sneak peek. He feels small and restrictive, whatever is happening. And I will share with you, there's something tight. Tupac he's out there, chatty Cathy. Um, Michael is like the opposite. He's very pulled in. And I'm not sure exactly why that is, but I'm going to explore that with you. And Prince Harry, there's negotiations happening. And I haven't talked about the royal family in a while because I don't know, you guys have very emotional responses when I talk about Meghan Markle. I'm not going to mention her or not going to talk about her show on Netflix because there's so much people devoted to her and breaking that down. But I'm more devoted or involved with the process of Prince Harry going back and rekindling their relationship with his father and his brother. So I looked into that. And what I'm going to do is get into his energy and where he sees it or what he wants. And yeah, and I think that is it. I guess that's it. I mean, that's a lot, but let's get started. And for those of you who bought outer spirit bracelets, the corn moon, blood moon, full total lunar eclipse over the weekend, I hope you didn't necessarily buy the bracelets. I'm happy if you did. There's a few of you that did because I got some information about that. But those of you who use the moon, the full moon in Pisces to expand or embrace some of maybe the emotional things that may come up in a certain part of your life and not let them like walk through the fear, step through it. And hopefully you guys did some of that or whatever it was for you. Hopefully you guys used it to the biggest potential possible. And I did. It was beautiful. I love looking at that full moon. I don't know. There's something about it. Just standing out there. It feels so powerful. And I always go, okay, what are you trying to tell me? Just feels so, and imagine that moon, this earth, the sun, this has been around millennia, millions of years in different forms, obviously, but it's so cool that we're here on the same ball of rock that all of our ancestors were, and beings maybe from another place in the universe have visited. I don't know, animals, very interesting. And I appreciate that. Okay, so let's start off. Before I continue, and I know I keep stopping and starting, I just want you guys to know that everything is going to be okay. And I suggest, and I do this for myself, I put a little note, I don't see it right here to grab it, but everything is working out for me. I put that so I can see it, and I live in a belief that everything is working out for me, and it has. Sometimes there's hard decisions, hard choices, but also sometimes there's manifestation or a belief or intention set that you know it will work out okay. Just a thought. You guys can try it. Let me know what you think if you find that. But it helps me, reminds me that everything is working out for me. Unfettered capitalism, and our economy is based on capitalism. And there's so many views on capitalism as a bad thing, as a good thing. And communism didn't work, right? Because we need incentive. And without incentive, people just go, okay, I'll just sit here and I'll get money. I'll get my. So humans need incentive and challenging. So capitalism for that reason is good. But the rules against corporations have, and the taxation has just basically disappeared. So when I got into the energy, and I'm picturing 2025 and onward, I'm unfettered capitalism. And I'm looking forward, and I feel like a blob, like I'm melting, I'm oozing away, like I have substance, but I'm like oozing. Kind of like Donald Trump's cake or Netanyahu's ice cream cone melting. So that must mean, I guess, in my strange images, that things are dissolving. I also am put in the mind of the 30s, that time in the US, not so much in the world globally, but the US, oh yeah, France, the election, the prime minister didn't, he got a vote of no confidence, which is not good. And they're having protests in Nepal where the Gen Zers, they're calling the Gen Z protests. Things are changing, right? They are all over the world, not just us. Everything's changing. We just got to pivot and adapt. But anyway, the unfettered capitalism, which I'm going to go into the energy of constructive capitalism or healthy capitalism, but unfettered is just melting. There is something not structurally keeping it together. So it's falling apart, and I can't say how or when, but I do feel like it is oozing. It's not staying like this. And I feel like it reminds me of the 30s. And I know that 29 was the Great Depression or the crash, but the 30s were really hard. But I feel like I'm in the 30s. So I might need to do more research. So that time in my mind feels like unrestricted, and it feels, even though I know people were losing money, but I feel like the rules were unrestricted and or non-restrictive environment where the capitalism grew. It grew a lot. And until I think Franklin Delano Roosevelt did something to tax the corporations, and maybe I'll put it in here. There's something like that. I feel like this is the feeling I get. And so in that regard, are we moving into a time when I don't see it yet? I feel like we're in the glory days of this unfettered capitalism, where the cryptocurrency phenomenon, where Eric Trump is becoming a 800 million bazillionaire or whatever it is. See, I don't see that staying. Something about the situation right now is going to fall apart. The way it is now is going to fall apart. And our friend Dennis, he said every time this happens, it's always a Republican Party in power when they crash the economy, or we have to recover from a pandemic, or the banking crisis, whatever it is. It's always a Republican Party that is in the office, and the Democrats have to come from behind and fix things. Just saying. So I think it's what's going to be happening. We're leaning towards that period of time without many rules, without many limitations, and unfettered capitalism is not going to survive. Now, in the future, I do feel okay. I feel like they're putting in place some guardrails, not the government, but people who enjoy this unfettered capitalistic money-making period. I do feel like they're embedding hooks into somewhere. Maybe it's in bills or in Congress because of their, the corrupt Congress and senators who are voting for different things that will protect them in the future. But a lot of this excess is going to go. I don't feel like the market's going to crash necessarily. This is more of an idea about capitalism. I don't know how else to explain it, but I do think that is going to be changing, and it's dissolving. And 2025, I feel like we're still in this golden period. It's not going to, but it's on its way out. Now, when it comes to social programs, because that's a natural progression to social programs, because that's what FDR did, when he came to office, why everybody, it was a correction. It's not going to be that extreme. But there's going to be a good, hard look at how we spend our money and where that goes to in regards to, safety nets, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. It's logical. And I know we all think, oh, it's logical, let's do that. But there's resistance, because if that's happening, people can't make their money. There is going to be taxation that's going to come into place and fix things. There is. And corporations are part of that. They're like an outcropping. They're like the thing, like the hose, the the tube that's shoving air and food and fuel. It's like the umbilical cord for that. And it's like we have to tie it off. Corporations are different. I feel like they're much leaner. They're going to be much leaner. They already are leaner. Not the upper, the vice presidents and presidents. They get all the bonuses. Corporations are going to be getting leaner and leaner. But it's funny. I see so many more corporations coming up in the future. Different kinds of corporations that aren't created the same, like this generation right now are. Corporations that, I'm going to pull out my Crow Tarot. I saw a ton of ravens, Banff and Jasper. They were just cawing everywhere and saying all kinds of stuff and doing their thing. But the corporations are feeding this. But I feel like these, so the new versions, it's like the youth or the next generation is creating a new type or a different way of organizing it. Or maybe it has to do with taxation where, when you buy a house or I used to be involved with town boards and stuff in my place in Arizona, where I was very involved with the art stuff. And when towns or cities sometimes have ordinances where if a subdivision developer wants to develop an area subdivision, they're required 10% of it needs to be green space, something like that. This is the feeling I have. These new corporation structures are something like that, where not just taxes, but something different. And this is not now. It's in the future. It feels really positive. I'm going to pull some cards on this. And how... Oh, okay. All right. So we've got the Six of Pentacles and the Five of Wands. Six of Pentacles is giving and receiving. They are eating this fish. This is the scales of equality, but also justice. So this is now, we got the Five of Wands of all this things that are happening right now, and we can't seem to get it together. But this is also the fight for justice. It won't be easy, but I think it's going to happen down the road. Okay. All right. I had to stop because I have beets in the oven and my timer went off. We bought a bunch of beets. I'm making borscht. I never made it before, and I'm making that because my husband's being sick and Ukrainian. And then I'm going to make some pickled beets. I like beets. I know a lot of people don't. Anyway, corporations, when I look into Intel, Boeing, Apple, they are getting smaller but wider, if that makes sense. They're getting leaner and they're not going away. There's like a recession or a rescission, reduction. Not, I don't feel layoffs necessarily, maybe. But it feels more efficient. That's the word I'm getting, is efficient. Corporations, they are going to continue. But the thing is, when I see them low to the ground, they're trying not to be seen. They're going to get really low. After all this other stuff happens, they're going to get really low. And, we're just minding our own business over here. Yeah, I don't know what you guys are talking about. When nobody's seeing us because we're really low to the ground. If you're in a trench and you don't want the other guy to shoot you, you stay low. I don't know where I got that from. It's not World War I trenches. Corporations, these. The sun shines on things and illuminates them. So we will see everything. And they don't like that. And that's why I'm seeing this feeling of going low. Don't look at it here. Don't look. Kind of thing. Democracy and as an idea. If I am, okay. That's so weird. I'm in the energy of a democracy. It's an idea. It's a concept. It's an experiment, and it's messy, and it's dirty, and we're in the middle of it, and we can't be complacent. If we want to keep it and keep the construct, the rules that we created to keep it in the Constitution, and the rules are being, nibbled down away until it's not a democracy. It's some sort of authoritarian mix of fascist, one man rules all kingship thing. But as a democracy. I got a hatchet in my hand, and it's funny. I wasn't thinking about George Washington, but I'm putting in the mind of the cherry tree, the story thing. But it wasn't that. I feel like democracy, and it's over here on my left hand. It's the hatchet is chipping away at this pole, like a telephone pole or a tree. Democracy Now, I think that's a website. I get emails from them all the time. Democracy is fighting back, and it's fighting against this very hard, rigid structure of a tree or a log or whatever it is. It's like a telephone pole, like I said. And it's chipping away, but it's like a hatchet. It's not a chainsaw. It's not one of those big saws. It's a hatchet, but it's fighting. But it doesn't feel, it feels like David and Goliath kind of vibe. But who won that fight, right? See, the concept won't ever die. Democracy concept can't die because it's an idea. Ideas can't die. They just can't. That's the reality. It's the physical constitution, the government, the institutions. Yeah, the democracy idea can't die. So it's not democracy. It's the Constitution, the institutions. Oh, and I see this log laying on top of the Constitution and kind of rolling over back and forth, meaning, these nutbags in Congress, the corrupt ones. And we have to remember to take leadership where we can. If you guys can't do anything but maybe donate, or even if you can't donate, just support through comments and reach out to your congressmen or senators. It's all part of the whole equation, drip, 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 We're all part of that larger ocean of Americans who want to maintain our democracy and constitutional rights. And same thing with the Constitution. It's funny, that log fell over and it's rolling over it, kind of like those not conjunction junction, but remember on I don't know, Electric Company or Sesame Street, they had those little videos where it was talking about the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. He has those little movies that taught about it. I see that little guy. Anyway, he's on the ground, but that log is rolling over, but it bounces right back up. It doesn't, like you'd think parchment would get flattened, but he's like that cartoon guy where he just gets back up and he's not dented. So that's really good. And so it feels like this tree. And why is it a tree or a log? It's semi-permanent. These wood eventually degrades over time and gets to dust. But this Constitution, this is interesting. I see it going around the log. It's going to the left of the log and leaving the log there. Interesting. And it's nothing to do with what they're doing. It's like the Constitution is escaping. That's the feeling I get. It's escaping. George Washington, how do you feel? Originally, when I saw him in the Oval Office with Trump, he was almost non-judgmental about what Trump was doing. And in that time, it was more about him and deporting people. And George Washington, to me, felt more like he was protecting, like he says, yes, he's protecting the United States. He has this feeling of he's doing what he has to protect the United States. So he wasn't really, he says he's a buffoon. He said he was a buffoon and an idiot and he had no character and he was a moron. But in that regard, that particular thing, he thought it was okay for whatever reason. But yeah, he said he has no education. He's not smart. He doesn't think past his nose. George Washington said that about the orange knucklehead, who is sick, by the way. He's very sick. George, what are you? General Washington? I see him taking Trump out of his chair behind the Resolute desk and kicking him out and wanting to sit in it and take over. But you can't. It's a sense of needing leadership. Leadership is really, really called for right now because everything is chaotic and disarray, and there's nobody with character or strong beliefs in a positive democratic way that is leading in the administration. Oh, he wants to start from scratch. He's like, let's get rid of all these people in here and start from scratch. But what can we do in this situation? Get the word out to the people, he's saying. Thomas Jefferson jumps in here and he's like, yes, he's showing me a newspaper, get out information to the people to read it, to help them understand. And he's showing me very poor people. People who are not wealthy, but he also looks at them looks down on them. I feel like he's looking at them like they don't know, they're not educated, and they aren't understanding what's happening. Not that they voted for Trump, but they just don't know what's happening right now. And there's a lot of people like that. And so he's saying we need to somehow communicate to them what's happening, because if you do that, he said, you'll have a huge uprising on your hands, a revolution. He's saying we need to get the word out to those people who aren't paying attention, basically. They're just busy living, like hardworking people, but they're not paying attention, and they just don't watch news that much or anything. That's where we have to go. We have to reach out to those people, somehow get the information to them. And you show me newspapers, but maybe something else, other kind of communication. But he's showing me there's a wall between that information and them. How do we get that information? Well, this is upside down. This is the 9 of Swords, which is, you know what? I think this is what he's suggesting, is make them scared, because this is the card of anxiety, fear, losing sleep kind of thing. And I think he wants you to show them the worst that could happen, which they're trying. And I know temperance is about balance, but in this picture, I see the raven or the crow dumping this cup. It's water and earth, 1 foot here and 1 foot there. It's almost like a relief, like it's putting out a fire, even though I know that's not what this is. Interesting. Get out that information to make them scared. There are a lot of people who are already scared. Thomas. Sean Adams. Oh, he's very active. He's very agitated. He's like, I know in the past, Thomas Jefferson, I got to drop some things here. So I don't think they're related to what I need to look at. But I don't think they're related. They're just there. I think it's because I'm etched. In the past time when I looked at Thomas Jefferson, he was laughing, but he is more jovial than the other ones. He's not as serious, but he feels more, this is the way you got to do it. Like, you got to let people know. You got to communicate. You got to tell them. And then he showed me that it's not going to be easy, but there's something that's not like straightforward about this. What is that? Not about telling him isn't straightforward, but how their outcome or the result of doing that. Things are in process. That's, geez, Louise. And then I got the Six of Swords, moving from rough waters to calm. So this is about a trip. This is about change and movement. And then we have the Six of Cups, nostalgia. That's a feeling of making America great again, but going back into a time. So there's the possibility of showing them this period of time that could be in the future. It's like something about communication. We really have to talk to them or somehow. And I was watching Adam Kinzinger's YouTube channel, and he was talking to a guy, Chris somebody or other, who left MAGA. And he's talking about how people do it and how that happens. And it was reminding me of that other woman who left it. And how they're basically brainwashed, and they live in a communication bubble, a silo that bounces. They believe it, and they really do. They believe that the Democrats are bad. They just do. So until we all can break that bubble, so it's something to do with that. So he says that. John Adams, oh yeah, I feel like he's all over the place. He's like, hello. He's like, yes, okay. I feel like he wants to. I know in the past I've seen him writing a lot. He had a lot of, but this time he feels like he wants to go and show me. Where do you want to show me? I don't know. I feel like I'm in Philadelphia. Makes no sense. Show me the cracks in the sidewalk, but I don't even think they had sidewalks then. It's a symbol of something. It's a crack. It doesn't mean it's not broken. It's a crack right now. He's walking. I'm following. Pointing to the sun. Okay. He's pointing to the Capitol Hill. He's pointing to the Capitol. I know that's not in Philadelphia, but he's walking. At first I thought he was taking me to the Liberty Bell or something, but it wasn't that. Yeah, so I got this, I forgot about this. That happened before, where I felt like all the parts are there. All the parts to fix this are there. We have a system set up. He's saying, yes, that's what it is. We already have this system set up. Congress and the president and the courts, and the system is there. So we just have to use it. And right now, there's corrupt, greedy people in there, but the sense I have is it's temporary. It won't be if we let it go, of course, but he's saying that all we have to do is work on that part. I forget if that was him who told me before or somebody else told me. Maybe it was Benjamin Franklin. Anyway, that's where we need to focus. This presidential thing he's a leader, but he's not the power. That he's saying he's not the one with the power, even though we all think he is. He's the powerful cult leader. Oh, he's showing me like he understands. He doesn't use the word cult, but he's saying he's like one of these people that he showed me like the Middle East somewhere, like people follow. Interesting. So we have all the parts. He's just saying we have to use them. And we're not. And the crack in the sidewalk? So it's a seam. It's not a crack. It's a seam. And it was put there intentionally to expand and contract with the weather. I love this stuff. It gives me shivers when I figure stuff like that out. But it's only can hold so much. It can only expand and contract so much, right? So when you start breaking up the sidewalk, it's not gonna, even though I know there's no sidewalk when he was there. That's very interesting. Ace of Cups. This is overflowing with happiness, beginning. Okay, so I feel better. We have to just use our tools, basically. That's what John Adams says. Ice, it's going to be, I guess they have 400 or 500 troop between ICE agents, police, law enforcement. They're going to make sweeps in Chicago. South Chicago is so bad with crime. You know, growing up there, I used to drive through, but it was not great. But now, last 4 or 5 years, it was really bad. Doesn't mean I want them to do that because it's illegal the way they're doing it. But when it comes to them doing that in Chicago, we have, when I was thinking about it a second ago, we got the, interesting, we got the star, which is about having faith. And you know, I'm a Midwest girl. There's some unique thing about the people from the Midwest. They generally are all, good people. They want the best for everybody. And that's what this feels like. So I feel like I feel like the energy is different. Not in, parts of Chicago are bad, but I feel like the energy for this whole movement, for this ICE invasion, I feel like it's going to sputter out. And then I have the King of Pentacles. But I see both of these have a star, even though, I know. So King of Pentacles is, maybe it's that Tom Homan, or maybe it's Trump. Trump's a Gemini, though, but the fire ascendant. But he's all about the money. I just feel like it's not going to be as bad. There'll be pockets. Oh, there's going to be definitely lots of protests. There already is. But I just feel like it's going to be a disappointment to ICE. And, okay. And there's the moon. I'm going to pick up those other cards, but the moon is about secrets, darkness, mystery, confusion, things that are hidden. I think this is on both sides. I feel like this is the Chicago mayor or the Chicago government or Pritzker in Illinois or what they're doing, and they're doing things on the down low. And I also think that ICE is doing things on the down low, trying to sneak and get in there. Or maybe they're going to do this at night. Maybe that's the other thing. And look at Prince Harry. And when I'm in his energy, I still feel like he has a chip on his shoulder. He really believes what he believes. He is very rigid. And it's funny, it's hard for him to reconcile a lot of the stuff that's happening to him right now because his marriage is not great but he either couple ways. He knows what's wrong, but he won't commit to the knowledge that he knows it's not great. Because part of him is really, he loves Megan. And he has children. But he's a man in two worlds, right? He wants it both ways and he can't have it. And I think in these negotiations or whatever they are, that he's going to go back and talk to King Charles, it's his intention or his agenda. Gosh, I feel like I'm a little child when I'm in his presence or in Charles's presence. I feel like I'm all of a sudden reduced to a very small little person. That is so weird. he feels small. And that has something to do with why he's so with a chip on his shoulder. All of a sudden, I got a twinge in my rib cage. Like he almost feels like daddy. I gotta come, father, or whatever. He calls him Papa. Um, I always want to call him Henry instead of Harry. Something about being called Henry is very important. I don't know why. It's the beginning. It's the beginning of the beginning. I don't think things will be decided, and I think Charles is going to resist, or the people around Charles, his secretaries or his whoever it is, will resist. Camilla is not going to be laying out the red carpet for Henry, and it's the beginning of the beginning. And Henry just keeps coming in my mind. Henry will. He has to change. He has to adjust. It's a big thing for him. He's a Virgo. His birthday should be coming up here, or maybe he already had it. It's a mutable sign, meaning flexible usually, but Virgos are self-critical, and I know he has ADD and stuff. He's got a lot of layers, and I've always said, if you guys, anybody knows him, send him my way. I'd love to do a little past life regression or hypnotherapy with him. But he doesn't know what he doesn't know. He's gone through a lot of therapy and stuff, or medications or drugs, on legal or illegal, but he's just troubled. There's a lot of trouble in there. So it's the beginning of the beginning to get back with his father, but there's going to be a lot of rules if he sees him. He's going to, I don't know, have to get patted down so he doesn't wear wire or anything like that. Or some sort of legal thing he has to sign. Those kind of form. They're airtight. I hate to say that, but I think the palace will make him do that because they're afraid he's going to say stuff, whatever he hears there, and he can't talk about it. I do feel like he wants to come back and see them and live in two worlds. I feel like right now he wants to have like a space there and a space in Montecito and continue what he's doing and somehow get his feet back in the UK. From Charles's perspective, I feel like he's tired. He feels for Henry. Wow, keeps coming out. He feels for his son, and he wants to have that relationship back. But he's all about duty for country, and he knows that he has to be very careful, and it's very sad. He's very sad about it. And William and Princess Katherine, Katherine and them aren't really interested in seeing him because they're so very hurt. And William is like Prince Philip more than he is like his father. He's a mix between Philip and the Queen Elizabeth, and his mother thrown in. His father is like third on the list. He feels more rigid like Prince Philip. He feels like he has character. This is my belief, and I'm going to follow this rules about it myself, and kind of thing. And as a Cancer, he's close to mom, and so Diana really affected William, and I think she gave him a lot of really good advice and some really weird stuff that he became her shoulder to cry on, which was weird for her own child, but I love Princess Diana, so it's just what it was. Anyway, Harry I said Harry that time, he will get his foot in his door and get the kids over there to visit. It's going to be slowly. It's the beginning of the beginning. Okay, I just wanted to look into that. Michael Jackson. I feel like I feel like he was so scared as a little boy. He was so abused from his father and just what he saw sexually. in his life with his brothers. He was exposed as a very, very young age to a lot. And he he's like different people. What I'm seeing in him is like he had his childhood before they became famous, and then they became famous, and then he became like his own little star, and then little by little, after Thriller, and in 1983 when he had that big was it the VMA award? No, Grammys or some kind of award ceremony when he did the moonwalk and stuff. Oh my God, he went crazy. It was amazing. But there's different sections of his life. I feel like it's in chapters, basically. Okay, chapters, sections. And I just feel bad for that tiny boy. He was abused by, is it Joe Sr.? Joe Jackson Sr.? And his mother was very traditional, so she didn't do much to protect those kids. And I think that affected him deeply. He was hurt. It broke him. It gave him brain damage. Emotionally and I think physically, actually. But Michael, he's standing there with his head down, with his arms in front of him, kind of like you'd see somebody that was ashamed and looked like this, a kid in front of you, like they did something wrong. Maybe that's why he's so reserved and he's not very outgoing to me. I can't, but I'm safe. It's okay. He showing me the end of his life where he was doing those, he's doing that production, learning the choreography for that production for his stage show. And this life was supposed to be, I don't want to say violent, but this life was supposed to be wild and fast and exploring deep stuff, that dark things. He was exploring dark things in his personal life, and then later how he felt and what he did. He did, I think, use children. He was such a funny guy because he was a sweetheart that was messed up, but he did use other children, and like he couldn't stop himself. It's an addiction because he had a hole inside of him to fill. Um, but he loved to dance. I feel when I'm I got that hat on. When I'm dancing, I feel like it gave him this escape. He loved it. It feels really good to dance. It feels like he can get out that energy that's left in here, that negative stuff that sits there in his heart. And the dancing got it out of him. And he felt good. He feels really good when he dances. The singing, yes and no. It was part of the process, but the singing had a lot of old anger, fear, history, memories in it. Not that he didn't like to sing, but it was complicated with the dancing. Even though I know he was forced to rehearse a lot when he was a kid, and his father was mean, but personally for him, there's something about the dancing. He feels free. Feels really free. Gets it out. So did you learn what you needed to learn? Yes. Yes, he said, I learned what I needed to learn in this life. It's about balancing humility with pain and power and greed, or what I had, and expansion and over using my gifts I mean, using my power and money to to abuse things, situations, people, kind of things. Um, I have my father here with me. He was part of the project, quote unquote, contract. He has his own healing to do. I'm not next to him. We're up here. I am not down there yet. I'm not recovered. I'm still in recovery. I have a lot of shame I came here with. A lot of shame. So much shame. Some of the shame was put on him. He feels like he was embedded with the shame as a child. Did nothing to deserve it, but, toxic family environment. Some of the shame comes from what he did later in life. And some of the shame is of his soul, knowing, because he has a good heart in there. He had a really sweet heart. And the shame on his soul level, because he saw what he could have healed from on a soul path. He did learn what he needed to learn, but there was a path he could have taken, and he didn't. He took a different one, whatever that is. So there was some free will involved. A lot of our soul contract isn't necessarily every choice we make. It's we go into this life and we have a karmic pattern or a karmic history, and we're here to learn about it, to heal from it, to repeat it, so we can meet the same people in different forms to say, yes, I want to let go of that. No, I want to relive it. And you keep repeating it, and you want to heal, basically. You want to evolve past it. So his choices, his soul contact was to put him in that environment where he had that experience to, yes, heal, no, let go. I do see he could have been, who is the person I'm seeing? Um, Somebody like in music that recovered that, um, and used his, I want to say Joe Walsh, but I don't know what Joe Walsh came to mind. I don't even know really what Joe Walsh does or anything, but it feels like he had that opportunity, and it's a lot of layers for him. He's looks over his children. He's very proud of them. Is it Paris and Blanket or what? Print Blanket Paris? I forget. He thinks she's beautiful. He just loves how beautiful she is, and he feels very um like he channel. I feel like she channels, gets him, and I don't even know what she does, but I feel like he's closer to her for whatever reason. And I've seen pictures of the son. I don't even know what he does exactly, but there isn't as a close relationship for whatever reason. I feel like it's the daughter that he's more connected to on the other side. And he has a lot of healing to do. There's so much, he embedded a lot in this life. What do you want people to know, Michael? He said there's always redemption, there's always love. He said love is everything. And he said if you love yourself more than, that's the big thing. Loving yourself is the most important thing, because if you love yourself, you will do right by yourself, and you won't let others control you. Because that's what it was. He felt controlled, and there was something embedded in him where the control thing. He felt like he couldn't get rid of that, and that caused him so much pain. And that's causing the dancing and the freedom of that. He said, I'm still working on understanding my lessons. He said, I'm still understanding. I'm still understanding. And I'm free. Uh, and I will He's not even know what he's going to come back as. Like sometimes I can tell or whatever, they have an idea. No, he's still deep in this recovery phase. Like I told you, it went at the beginning where I felt like his head is down. It's just a lot of shame. But on the other side, you love each other, it's pure love over there. But on a soul level, he's processing it. He could have made some choices that he didn't make. That would have been better on a soul level. So anyway, hope you guys found that interesting. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for sharing with us what you had or what your experience was, what you'd like us to know. Love each other. Oh, feels like he's hugging me. I was walking away. Sweet. Okay, I think that is it. That interview, like I said, with Dennis is about truth. And he mentioned Henry David Thoreau, which was a big part of, he's got a history. So I'm going to do more investigation with Henry David Thoreau. I know that sounds kind of off topic. Anyway, if you guys have any more questions, I got a couple emails. Is it Francisco asked me about the Atlas, 3i Atlas, and I didn't know about it, so I had to look it up, the comet, and see what's going to happen in the future with RFK Jr. and talk about cuckoo, crazy banana, brainworm, parasitic stuff. I'm going to look into him and see what his future looks like for us. Okay. And the CDC. All right, you guys, take care. Thank you again. Please subscribe. I've had some lovely new clients through this channel, and I really enjoy doing that. If you guys are interested, in the description box, I do personal readings. I also do astrology. I do hypnotherapy and past life regression, which is really cool. Anyway, you guys take care. Everything is working out for me.